Hi, I'm Rex Lai. Welcome to Tao, Theoretical Implied Organizing. This is a continuing series about this overall approach and the specific techniques and ideas embedded within it. So today's discussion is going to be relevant to political consultants, designers, communication experts, and organizers. So, micro-targeting and meta-narratives. Oh my, what are these? These are two interesting techniques that have never been combined in this way and manner that I'm talking about right now. So, micro-targeting is really about database mining of certain facts, historical determinants of, for example, voting, how people buy products, what they spend it on, activities and habits and hobbies. And ultimately, it's a blunt predictive instrument in the sense that they try to predict how people think and what people do. But ultimately, I think if it's combined with the meta narratives, it can be a precise surgical technique that can lead to a lot of results. So meta narratives, what is that? Meta narratives are basically trans-historical narrative that is deeply embedded in a particular culture. So what is the story about a particular culture? Why is it that we do the things we do? What are the stories we tell each other, our myths, our heroes? This is the stuff that is so deeply ingrained that it's hard to make explicit. It's kind of like asking a fish to describe water. So understanding meta narratives and then tying that to micro-targeting is a very powerful tool. And it's basically wheels within wheels. How do we have cascading, rippling impacts and influences on each other? So seek first to understand, then to be understood. This is by Stephen Covey, an early influence of mine. In order to get a good sense of a meta-narrative, what are we looking at? We're looking at first this great work done by Colin Woodward called American Nations. He argues that there's 11 regional cultures, almost nations, that exist within the U.S. And it's a good reason why we're such a diverse but also divided nation. But also the 12 community types written by Dante Cini and James Gimple that looks at incredible data and talks about the unique 12 different socioeconomic community types in the nation and the resulting meta-narratives that's come out as a result. So this is a very timely piece in terms of the fact that we're right in a very contested election with micro-targeting happening, but it's also timeless in the sense of understanding where we came from, where we're going in terms of our cultural meta-narrative. So here are the 11 regional cultures. I won't go through all 11, but they're listed right here. You can see the map. But again, it's all about the different historical cultures that resulted from our history, our current status, and helps inform why we do the things we do. Just to give you an example, why is Ohio the swing state personified, a perennial battleground, if you will? I'll give you a second to think about it. Well, one of the reasons is because Ohio actually has 3 distinct regional cultures running through it. Can you guess what they are? If you look at the map, you can tell it's got Yankeedom, the Midlands, and Greater Appalachia running through it, which means that Ohio is always a very interesting, diverse state that has a lot of competing cultural narratives within it. So there are many insights like that and many more within this book. So from our patchwork nation, Dante and James have come up with 12 community types done county by county. And it's really interesting the conclusions they've drawn about the determinants of why people do the things they do, how they think, their meta-narratives, for example. So, for example, why is Obama now really focusing on number 2, campus and careers communities? What is it about the youth vote that's important, that informs the Democratic vote? And what is it about the muddy verbs, number 9? One interesting conclusion that came out of this work was that that's a really important demographic to look at because they are, 1, the least ideological, meaning they're the more independent, more swing votes, and 2, they've got the highest numbers in terms of population. Just a big group that needs to be considered one of that. So there's many more insights in this book and just wonderful data that can help craft our meta-narratives. So here is the wheels within wheels model. We'll start with, at the top, the 11 regional cultures, which is with, the information we derive from American Nations, Colin Woodward's work, and then melding into that with the understandings from the 12 community types, the community types preferences done by Dante and James. And then finally, moving that into an integrated messaging action process, which is all about framing and alignment processes. So this is how it begins. We start with the elements of the 11 regional cultures, which talks about different dimensions of the meta-narrative, including the role of the individual, the theory of success, relationships to authority, faith and influences, and also governing values. The values that are the basic assumptions of why we operate and think and do and behave the way we do. And also many, many others that we can talk about. Now, from the 12 community preferences, we get interesting information like number of counties and the population, where they're at, the political leanings, the economic hardship index, which is an interesting new measure that they came up with, and the narrative on the economy. Why is the economy the way it is? What's the story about that? And the relationship between individual and community. I think this is a very important dimension among, and many, many other factors. So framing alignment techniques. This is where we get this is how we craft the irresistible invitation, the compelling narrative, the call to action. What is the ask? And how do we make it resonate? And there are different techniques, including bridging, which is all about making sure there's bridges between congruent but yet unconnected different frames of thinking, different mental models. Amplification, which is a much more interpretive and clarifying and invigorating of the core values and beliefs that the meta-narratives have. Extensions, which are about extending the boundaries of the frame. This is often what we call reframing, moving the frames outside in a bigger way. And transformative stuff, which is very, very difficult. The shifts in values, shifts in philosophy, shifts in stance. So this is the framework. So come to Dow-organizing.com. If you're as excited about this topic as I am, I promise to give you a 1-hour free consultation about more of the ideas and discussions and possible applications to your own work. So sign up, let me know that you'd be interested in doing a free hour consultation, and I'll see you there. Thank you.